Okay guys, so we are starting our new module today. So this is module 8. This is our last one for the school year. And this module starts taking a lot of the geometry kind of section and working on that. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is angle measures. Now, this shouldn't be new, but you probably haven't done this in a really long time. So we're going to use some tools today. We're going to use a protractor. And so if you didn't already get one, make sure you get one from the sub. So we're going to talk about angles. And angles are measured in units called degrees. Okay, and so you can see I'm giving you guys a half protractor. And on your guys' protractor, there is like a center dot down here in the middle, and then there's like this straight line down here. So it says to place the center point of the protractor's base on the vertex. So like that is where your angle opens up. That's where you'll put that center piece. Align the straight side with side GH so that the marker for 0 degrees is on the ray. So you guys can see down here, whenever you line up your protractor, that's going to be your 0 degrees. Use the scale that begins with 0 as line GH. Read where the other side of the angle, GF, crosses the line. So you guys will be able to see here that there's two different sets of numbers. There's a smaller set and a bigger set. And if you guys think all the way back, probably to grade school, you talked about right angles, acute angles, and then obtuse angles. So a right angle is 90 degrees. And obtuse angle is something that's bigger than 90, and then acute angle is less than 90. So that'll kind of help you whenever you're looking at these, like which one of these do I use to measure? This is an obtuse angle. So you can see that it goes through right here at 130. So that would be 130 degrees. And they show that by measure of angle, FGH is equal to 130. So we're going to practice measuring. So you guys are going to do this with your protractor. So we're going to measure angle XZY. So I'm going to get my protractor here. And it looks pretty similar to your guys's. So we're looking for XZY. So what we want to do is we want to take it, maybe, if mine wants to act right. Okay, so angle XZY. So that would be XZY, this one right here. And I'm going to take my protractor and I'm going to line up that 0 right there on that dot. And then I want to make sure that this straight line edge right down here lines up with that ray. And then I'm looking for this measure right here. Now you can see XZY is kind of a smaller angle, so it's going to be acute. So since we're starting here at 0, we want to use these inside measures right here. Okay, so here's 0, 10, 20, 30, but each of the little lines in between are 1, and then the littler lines in the middle, that's 5. So we go 0, 10, 20, and we go right out here, and it's right there in the middle, so this one would be 25 degrees. Okay. The next one we have SZY. So on this one, we're looking at SZY. Okay, and you'll notice that this forms a straight line, and you guys might remember this from previous years, that a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. And I can show you that by lining up my protractor. So line up that 0, 0, your straight line down here. So 0, 180. Okay. Now we're going to look at TZU. So again, I'm going to kind of move this over here. So TZU is this section right here. And you're going to notice that you're looking at an angle that isn't down here on the bottom. So we're going to have to rotate that protractor a little bit. So I'm still going to line up that dot right there in the middle. But I kind of have to rotate that 0 on that T line, okay? And I am looking at U right here. Now again, if I'm looking at TZU, that's a smaller angle, so it's going to be acute. So I start out here with this 0. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and it's right between 40 and 50, which would make it 45 degrees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rotate back my protractor back to 0 degrees, and I'm going to move it off. Okay, and we are looking for WZT this time. So WZT. So this is a big angle, so it's going to be probably greater than 90. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up that 0 again, right there on that point, and I'm going to rotate it so that it's on either W or T. And so I'm just going to rotate mine so it lines up with T. Okay, pretty close. Okay, and so you can see here how I have the 0 lined up with T. So T, Z, W. So I'm looking over here at W. Okay, and remember, this is going to be a bigger line. Okay, so I go over here to 0. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. But it's not quite 120. It's right here in the middle of 120 and 130. So I'm going to call that 125 degrees. So remember, you always start at the 0 and then count. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create our own angles. So they want 110 degrees. So what you do is you're just going to take the edge of your protractor and you're going to draw a straight line. Okay, I'm going to put a little dot at the end. Okay, that's going to be kind of my starting point. So I'm looking for 110 degrees. So I'm going to take my protractor, I'm going to line up my 0, and I'm going to make sure this line is straight. And so you can kind of see mine's a little off, so I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. So I'm at 0. Now I want to go to 110. So again, here's 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 90, 110 is right here. Okay, it's going to be a larger angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dot right here, maybe, at 110. Mine wouldn't work very good. And then what I'll do is I will just take my protractor and I can rotate it and I can use it just like a ruler for you guys. Mine's a little more difficult than you guys, but you'll take your as a ruler and draw your straight line from end to end. And that angle right here, this is 110 degrees. Okay, so now we want to do 85. So this one's going to be less than a 90, a right angle. So again, draw your straight line, put a dot at the end. Let me get my protractor back square here. Okay, take it, line it up right there on your vertex, and then make sure you're lined up here. And I'm just a little bit off. You can kind of see it's a little bit above, but it's kind of hard to get it perfect. Now 85, so again, here's 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So 85 would be right there on that point right there. And then use your protractor as a ruler to connect your dots. So you can see it's not exactly straight up and down like a 90-degree angle would be, but that one is 85 degrees. So that's how you use a protractor. That's how you make angles. So now let's do some algebra with these. Okay. So complementary and supplementary angles. Again, you've probably heard these terms probably way back in grade school. A complementary angle are two angles that when you add them together, they equal 90 degrees. They make a right angle. A supplementary angle are when you add the angles together and they form 180, because you guys can see that these two together make a straight line, which is equal to 180. So what we're going to do is we're going to first identify whether something's complementary, supplementary, or neither. So if I'm looking at angle 1 and angle 2 together, you can see that if you put those two together, it forms a straight line, which would be, supplementary. Okay. Angle 1, angle 2 form a straight line. Angle 60 degrees and 30 degrees. If I were to take 60 degrees and add it to 30 degrees, I get 90 degrees, which is a complementary angle. Okay. This one right here, if I take these two and I add them together, So I've got 85 plus 90. And if I take 85 plus 90, that equals 175. And that is not complementary or supplementary, so this one would be neither. It's just two angles. Okay, so this time we have 75 and 15. So let's take 75 plus 15, and when we add those together, we do get 90, which is a complementary angle. Okay. So that's identifying, and that's going to be the first kind of part of your homework. So now we know that these two together form a 90 degree, which is complementary, but they want me to find x. Okay, so what I know is if I take this angle right here, which is 28, and add it to x, that those two are going to add up to 90. And so we're trying to find this missing x. So basically we're solving for x. It's a positive 28, so we're going to subtract 28. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So 90 minus 28 is 62 degrees. Okay. This time we have three angles, and so you guys see this little pink box right here, and you guys know that that means it's a 90 degree angle. Okay, so actually there's a couple ways you guys could do this one. We know that these two together are both make all of a straight line. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this angle plus this angle plus this angle. And it's supplementary. So we have x plus the other x plus 90. And all three of those form a straight line, which is 180. We have to combine our like terms. So we have x plus x, which is 2x, plus 90 equals 180. Positive 90, so I'm going to subtract 90 from both sides. 2x is equal to 180 minus 90 is 90. It's being multiplied by 2, so I'm going to divide by 2. And 90 divided by 2 is 45 degrees. So each of those is 45. Okay? All right, next one. So here we have a straight line, and we know that that is 180. It's a supplementary angle. So I'm going to take 56 plus angle x is equal to 180. Solve for x. Positive 56, so I'm going to subtract 56. So we have x is equal to 180 minus 56 is 124 degrees. And you guys can see that's an obtuse angle, so that makes sense. It would be a larger value. Okay. All right, so this is your ticket to your guys' homework. I'm going to have you guys do this one and then take it to the sub, and if you get it right, you can work on your paper, which is 1 through 13. So if angle A and angle B are complementary. Now, what do we know about complementary? That means it equals 90. And measure of angle B is 67. What is measure of angle A? So that means we have 67. We don't know what A is, so we're just going to call it x, and we know those two together have to equal 90. So finish this problem, take it to the sub, and then you guys need to work on your homework.